Hi, I'm CB, and in this tutorial I'm going to talk about lining up your text. If you have something like this piece of paper where you want to make sure that each line of text is on the line of paper, just like you would if you were writing on a piece of paper. So I'm going to use the text tool, and I'm using CS2 for this layout. This will also work in Elements the same way in other versions of Photoshop, other than there will be a difference that I'll mention toward the end. But let's go ahead and click with the text tool on this first line of the paper and start typing. My dialogue here is going to be pretty lame, by the way. The day. Now, I could hit return at this point and move down to the next line of the paper, but you will find that your spacing is probably not right, and if you were to keep typing and typing, you would have to go and keep adjusting your spacing probably more than one time, and it's just a bit of a pain. So I like to create a new text layer for each line of dialogue in this paragraph that I'm going to write. And normally when you're working on a text layer, if you move your cursor outside of that, it turns into the move tool, which allows you to move your line around the layout. But if you hold the shift key down, it turns into the text tool again, and if you click, it creates a new layer. So we're going to go ahead and continue this line of thought here. We spent the day outside. It was. Now I'll hold shift again and click below. Fun. And then when I'm done, we'll say I've done like 10 layers or so. I'll click the check mark. The next thing I want to do when I'm talking about writing on a piece of paper is I want to turn the opacity of these text layers down a little bit so that it looks more like writing, like ink that's bled through into the paper a little bit. So if you're using Elements and CS or lower, we're going to have to go into each of these text layers and turn them down individually, like to 85 is about what I tend to use. But in CS2 and I believe CS3, we have the ability to make groups, and we'll be able to treat these all as one thing. So you make a group by having your top text layer selected, hold down shift, and then click on the bottom layer so that they're all selected. Now to make a group, the shortcut is Control plus G. If you're using Mac, it'd be Command plus G. Now all these text layers, if I hit the little visibility thing, you see they all disappear. It's all being treated like one thing, so I can just lower my opacity to 85 on just the group, or close to that, whatever. And now it's all being treated as one thing. Let me turn that group off. I'm going to put this one on that I have earlier. The next thing I like to do in this layout is I'm going to want to turn this piece of paper a little bit so it's not quite so straight on the page. And I want this text to also move at the same time. So I'm going to click on the group, or it would be the top layer of text if you're not using the group, and then hold down shift and click on the paper so that all of that is selected, and I'll lock it to make it all move as one. And therefore when I go out here with the move tool selected, you may not be seeing it on the screen, but it's showing me a little double-headed arrow, which if I click now takes me into the into the free transform, and allows me to rotate this a little bit. And I just hit the check mark. If you need to go into your group again to make changes, and all this text here is editable still, so you might want to do that, the shortcut is Control plus Shift plus G, or Command plus Shift and G on the Mac. And now your layers are no longer grouped, and you can go into each one of these layers, double click on the T, for instance, if you need to fix a typo, or perhaps if you need to move this, then you can unlock it pretty easily by just holding down the shift key, clicking on the little lock that temporarily unlocks it and allows you to move just that one line around. Then hold shift again and click on the lock, and it will relock it, and you could regroup it. I'm Chris, CB, and I hope this has given you a cool way to work with text on your layout. Thanks for watching.